Okay, so I just did a full video, none of which was recorded. I thought it was so good. But I'm in a good mood, so maybe that good mood, and maybe I won't talk about, the stuff I talked about, because I was thinking it was being recorded, and I was wondering whether or not that should be recorded. So anyway, here we go. So what this video is about is rubbing your nose properly. No, what this video is about is the emotions related to unresolved events or traumas. What a trauma is an event that had a lot of emotions stimulated from the event, and those emotions were held on to. And as long as they're held on to, it was a trauma. Once the emotions are released, it was an event. So, the main, the main emotion, the one that comes up the first, related to these release of emotions, related to release and integration of the emotions of events. The first one is fear. And so fear affects the hips. So if you want to, I like those little funny eyes. Pretty cool. If you want to put your hands on your hips and kind of just rock your hips from side to side, it'll kind of feel like you are running. And so that just that little exercise will move some fear. And if you feel it move, you might feel it in your abdomen, like all of a sudden your abdomen might not feel so good. You might feel it in your lower rib cage. It feels like it's a little tight in there. Upper rib cage, shoulders, atlas vertebra, occiput, temporomandibular joint. Those are all parts of fight or flight. So the fight or flight thing is about you're having to defend yourself, you're having to fight someone, or you're fleeing, you're running, or climbing a tree to get away from the tiger, whatever. The things that scared us. Maybe just it was a parent that was scary and would go into various states that were scary. So in this exercise, I'm just going to tell you also that the organs associated with fight or flight are the 12th and 11th thoracics, the lower vertebra with ribs. The 12th and 11th thoracic are related to the kidneys, which are related to fear. The 10th thoracic is related to the small intestine and is related to fear. Um, and the ninth thoracic is the adrenal. It's also related to fear. And so if you're in constant fear over a long period of time, like the last 3.5 years, and you're in constant fear, you might have caused some adrenal exhaustion, and you might not have fed the adrenals, which zucchini is a good way to feed the adrenals. Vitamin C is a good way. Good vitamin C, lipodermic or liposomic or something like that. Dr. Mercola's got this good vitamin C that you get a lot of the vitamin C from it, and also zucchini. And then there's also supplements you can take, adrenal supplements that have a variety of different things good for the adrenals to build the adrenal back up. Because when the adrenal is exhausted, we can tend to have unstable knees, unstable pelvis. We can tend to feel real dizzy. We can have blood sugar problems. Those are all adrenal related. I hope I'm not giving, and I'm not a medical doctor. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, which some consider to be a doctor and some consider to be a quack, you know? And either way, as long as they're helping people, I don't care what they call them, or me, or us, or anybody. Anyway, get your adrenals built back up again, because they're very involved in your immune response. So you want, for a good immune system, you need good functional adrenals. So look it up, check it out, find out ways to feed and nourish your adrenal glands. It'll be very helpful as you come out of this period of fight or flight. And it's been well, I mean, it's been your whole lifetime, but the last 3.5 years have been more intense. So let's just go into the fight or flight response. We pull forward, our shoulders get tight, they pull forward, our jaws get tight, our head gets tight. We start feeling our blood cutting off to our head. Our fists we get ready to do whatever we need to do. So what we're going to do is just say, I choose to let this go. And just notice what it feels like when you're letting this go. Now, you're just not letting what you created in that moment. You're letting go of what was created kind of for you over the last 4 years. Because that fear was created. You may think, no, it was real. No, it was created. That's just my perception. Okay, and you let it go. I choose to let it go. You let your shoulders go and you feel energy start moving and energy starts flowing down your legs. The next one typically is grief and loss. And grief and loss can affect the knees, adrenals, fear can affect the knees too, but the knees are real grief areas. The elbows. The third lumbar, which relates to the testicles and the ovaries. So the testicles and the ovaries are grief organs. The lungs, the heart's really affected by grief. The thyroid and the throat affected by grief. And the ears, the eyes, the temporal bones, which are the cranial bones that surround the ears, and the parietal, which are above the temporals, those are all related to grief and loss. And so if you notice when a person is releasing grief, if they're doing it, they'll be and then if you think about laughter, you hear which are very similar energies and very similar body motions. So if you have a chance and you don't have anybody around that might laugh at you, you might go into shame. Come out of shame. Then you can laugh about the release of grief. So ha, 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 ha. We'll release it just as well as ha, 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 ha. But anyway, right now we're just going to go into grief, pulls us forward. We feel it tightening, the ears and the eyes squeeze, and you can put your hand over your forehead if you want, your hand over your chest, and you can say, I choose to let go of grief. And then you just feel it release. And you feel like your brain's balancing around that grief. As that comes up, and if some bones go pop, pop, pop or whatever, that's fine as long as it doesn't hurt. And it's probably fine if it does hurt, but it's, it's just interesting that it will pop up. And that's grief. And then the last one is anger. And anger has to do with the male and female sex organs. It has to do with the ankles and the feet. And in the feet, in the arch of the feet, are our grounding chakras. So how we get energy and release energy is through the feet, through the grounding chakras. If our ankles and feet are locked up because of this held in anger, it shuts down the movement of our energy systems in the body. So if we begin to appreciate anger in its release, without having to hit people and do that's violence, that's not anger. Anger is power. But when it's suppressed, it can turn into, uncontrolled anger. We don't want uncontrolled anger. We just want our anger back, which is our power back. So we just may feel the anger when it comes up, the irritation. We feel all that. And these are almost all pull forward. So this whole area of the sternum has to do with anger. So we get pulled forward, and our throat will lock up, and
Yeah. So you're probably starting to feel it. So, and then this area here at the upper part of the back, at the lower part of the neck, that area gets really tight and locks up in here. And then you'll feel it in your ankles and your feet. You'll feel it in your coccyx and your pubic bone. You'll feel it in your fifth lumbar and your belly button. You'll feel it in the bottom part of your sternum and the top part of your sternum and this clavicle junction. You'll feel it all locked up in there. And then we're just going to say, and I'm going to go ahead and do this, but put my hand here over the emotional balancing area and my hand over my chest, which is called the heart or thymus chakra, involved in immune function. We're going to feel that anger, and we're going to go, I choose to let anger go.
And then I get those funny eyes. And so those will help you if you want to laugh. Oh, no, that was grief. Oh, I may have messed you up now. Looks like it says 69 or something. Or it's a yin yang. Oh, look at that. A bullseye now. Okay. And then that releases. You really let it go. Let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. And that is the relief of fight or flight, fight, flight, freeze, grief, loss, grief over loss, anger over loss, and anger is the suppression of your power. So hopefully you'll find these useful. Let me know, in a comment or something, if you found the exercise useful, if you'd like to do something more extensive with it, because what I'm doing is when I have thoughts or I'm working with things I've been working with for a long time, but I think this could be useful to people, then I make a video. And obviously I've changed the background from time to time, and I also got these Google eyes, which I really like. Okay, that's it. So, as always, now must go. And it's been a pleasure being with you. And you can actually feel that we're actually being together and letting go of things and healing the world. And how do we heal the world? One heart at a time. All right, that's good. Now must go.